Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. We're here talking about the WCTV Game of the Week tonight. Centennial is going to travel to Summit. We have the head football coaches, Coach Brian Coleman from Summit for the second week in a row. The newcomer, Coach Jamaal Stewart of Centennial High School. Gentlemen, appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for me to be. I'm happy to be sitting next to this man.
Oh, my God.
Now, we were talking the Centennial students, because Coach Coleman was asking about this. They've already given
Word trickled down through the coaching ranks.
But he's got a nickname.
He's got a nickname.
Which is,
Coach?
Mallory Lane Mall.
That's right. That's right.
Take pride in where we're at, baby.
I like it. I feel a T-shirt coming up.
Oh, yeah.
They are already talking about making shirts and banners, and it's crazy. But it's a great atmosphere, though. I loved it.
Listen, when you open your career at Centennial with not only a win, but a county win and one over Franklin, that's a pretty good way to start, Coach.
No, it was. I mean, it meant a lot in the community. I really didn't realize how much it meant until after the game, because there were fans that were crying.
Yeah.
Meaning, it was some guys that's been Centennial fans or grew up and even went to Franklin. It meant a lot to them to see Centennial be successful that night. And it meant a lot to our community, our kids, and our faculty. You could just tell how excited they were. But it was a good game, and we finished it at the end, and we was pleased with the outcome.
Coach Coleman, yours, I guess, could have been dubbed the Battle of Spring Hill.
Yeah, kind of still a rival. We're right next to each other.
How do your students feel about it and your team versus maybe Spring Hill High? I'm guessing the WCS game WCS still higher, but it's still a little bit of a rival because they do hang out together. I mean, we're right next to each other. We share that crossing right there in the middle, so they do hang out a lot. So they know a lot of each other. So it's not like a WCS game, but it's pretty close. Yeah. Well, both of you, those rivalry games, got a little pep in your step. Both of you 1-0, and I'm guessing, Coach Coleman, that your players have a little pep after winning that first game in a convincing way.
I sure hope so. I mean, we had some tough scrimmages, which we meant to. Wins and losses in scrimmage doesn't matter, but we want some tough opponents. So to get that win and to play well in the second half tries to hopefully get us some momentum going into this game.
We'll start with Coach Stewart on this one, but I want to ask both of you this. The heat, that's been big talk this week, and we could go over what the rules are, but basically if the heat index is too high, you can't practice. You guys have practiced in the mornings, afternoons. I know you guys as coaches, and really I think football coaches as much as any, what I've been around, y'all are very much creatures of habit. You got these 10 weeks that you're playing games and you want things to be consistent. How have you dealt with that this week, Coach Stewart?
I mean, it's just another thing of adversity. We preach it on the football field. We preach it in life, and we told the kids how we got to overcome it. So, we lift weights, we watch film. We've been using the gym a lot. We'll wait till it cools down later in the evening and have a late practice and things of that nature. So we have to make adjustments. We're not just going to go home. That's never an option. So, like I said, we'll wait till it cools down later in the evening, or like I said, adjust and have a morning practice at 6 o'clock or 5 a.m.
Coach Coleman, how about you guys? Same kind of thing?
We went 5:30 to 7 in the mornings, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday too. So we went in the mornings, and then afternoon we've done film and weights, which is it's not been bad, but sometimes the defensive coordinators I've been around, Coach Melton, now Coach Taylor, they don't like a set schedule. I mean, we've got to shut down at 7 o'clock in the morning because the kids get to school. Those guys don't like that too often. Even though we have a 15-minute this, a 15-minute that, and a 10-minute that, those guys want to go over all the time. So they're not liking it. Coach Taylor didn't like it. The defense staff didn't like it as much because it's a hard stop. We got to stop, and we got to go to class. So if it's in the evening, they can keep going, and, doesn't matter if dinner time's pushed up 15, 20 minutes, doesn't matter. So, but other than that, I mean, the kids have been fine. They've gotten up. Been lively. I mean, it's not been a dull practice in the morning just because it's early in the morning, turn the lights on. So it's kind of cool, but it's definitely, the weather's affected everything, and which is fine. You just got to adapt. Like Coach said, you're going to have adversity in anything. So let's just adapt and move forward. And
Coach Coleman, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes I've reached out to you in the summer when we're talking about different things that are going on and you guys are weight training. You you guys go pretty darn early.
We start at 6:30
That's what I
all
was
summer.
thinking.
Yeah, yes, sir. So I mean, it's a little bit different, but not that much.
How about you, Coach Stewart, when you guys do your weight training? Is it early or is it more middle of the day? What do you tend to do?
When I first was hired, they continued their morning 6:30 workouts Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But this summer, we just practice 7 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, it's not that big of a difference, 30 minutes. But you try to get in there and get as much as done. And, you know, you want to give the kids their day in the summertime and just get it over with. And it allows you to get home to your family as well. So you try to make adjustments. And morning time, I think the kids really enjoy the morning time a little bit better anyway.
Parents like it because we're getting them up in the morning. They're not laying around.
Sure.
The kids can have a job. We're staying away from other sports too. So, I mean, if you go into a basketball camp, you can go on. And baseball is usually, and another thing, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. You know how these kids have so many daggone appointments.
Right.
I don't know what dentist opens it up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They try to find them now.
Right.
But we get away from all that kind of stuff.
Let's talk a little game history. Obviously, this is the first game for Coach Stewart since it's his first year at Centennial. Dates back to 2013. In fact, in 13-14, Coach Coleman, 14 was your first year at Summit. Those were district games back then. It was back in the old, we played district games, not
That was
just.
a 6A, 5A split.
Yes.
I think we were together, and then we just branch off and go to 5A playoffs. Yeah.
Little different
That was
deal
tough.
back then. Last year was a region game, but everything else has been non-region like this year will be. 4-2 overall. Centennial leads. Again, Coach Coleman has been coaching every game except that first one, 2 and 3 in the series. Coached all but the 2013 game. Now, you guys, because I've been trying to find this, and I was correct in that you never coached against each other. However, Coach Stewart, you were part of the same coaching staff recently.
We were both part of Coach Hester's all-star staff, all-star team staff, which was fun. Did we win? I don't know.
You know we didn't win.
We didn't win.
Thanks a lot,
So we
Will.
blame it on the head coach.
So wait, what were your
It
roles?
comes down from the top.
What were your roles? So you had the head coach was Coach Hester. Coach Stewart, what was your role?
I think I was just the punching bag for Will. I think it was all Will wants to do is crack jokes on everybody. So, but
We were just there for his music.
yeah, we was there. It was just his servants, I guess. But no, but he had me. I appreciate Will. Man, he's a good friend and good guy. Knows football, and I was just thankful he brought me on. I did the offensive line.
Offensive line. Coach.
I did defensive line.
Okay.
It was a fun week. I mean, we had some good coaches. AB from Hillsboro's head coach, he was there. It was a good time. It was fun.
We had a lot of fun.
So listen, when your assistant coaches sell y'all out, y'all can't really say anything. Y'all just were quick to just sell Coach Hester out immediately.
Of course.
It's Will. He can take it.
Yeah,
He dishes it enough. He can take it.
strong
Yes, he
back.
does. Yes, he does. Coach Coleman, let's talk about this. I love this that you did it. And I don't know how it came about, but obviously in your 6A region, you're going to play 4 other Wilco teams, but you kept Centennial and Nolensville on the schedule, which I love. Talk about that.
I mean, quality opponents, quality coaching staffs, that's what we're about. I mean, and I don't, travel, yes, it helps with travel. We're closer, but I mean, that's always been our thing. Like I talked about in scrimmages. As a football program, you want to play other great programs, so which means you want to play other great coaching staffs because coaching staffs usually make programs. So anybody in WCS is going to be a great game. And again, the kids know each other, so it's a competitive game and it's fun playing WCS opponents.
Talk about this, and we'll start with Coach Stewart. You both have been state runner-up once, state champion for you guys.
Twice.
Twice
We
runner-up?
were runner-up twice, yes.
What did I miss?
19 and 21.
That's of course. That's of course. It was 5A, 6A.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Shortchanged us
shorted
already.
I did shortchange.
What a memory.
Dadgummit.
It's all right.
There went your statue.
So, my statue or his statue?
Both now.
But talk about this. I think sometimes, and Coach Stewart, obviously this is only your 4th year as a head coach, but I think taking it to the end maybe has taught you this a little bit. You want to have those qualities. I see younger coaches especially. You look at an individual season and go, hey, maybe we're not going to be quite as good this year, and they sort of run away from stronger opponents. And I'm not dogging that, but I got a feeling your philosophy, regardless of your team, is going to be, let's play the best if we can. Is that true, Coach Stewart?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. I'd rather go through the fire during the season to prepare you for the last 5 games if you're blessed to make it that far. I was in a 3A program. We played 4 6A programs or 5A programs in my non-region games. And did we win them all? No, of course not. But it prepared us for the playoffs. And then, I mean, you can't ask nothing more of your kids just to go to battle every Friday. But when you're going against a quality opponent, when it prepares you for the playoffs. And not to down anyone, but when you play a Riverdale or you come out here and play a Ravenwood or Summit or any schools like that, it prepares you for 3A football. There's no one going to look like that. So, I mean, we're going to continue the same thing. When we do the next cycle again, if we're not in the same region or whatever the case may be, we'll still play WCS football, have some good quality opponents at the end of the day just to prepare. I mean, you don't want to have too many teams on your schedule that don't challenge you because your kids get lax. And then they don't, I'm not going to say they don't push themselves as much, but you know what I'm saying? When you got to know, you got to put your strap it up on Friday and have a battle of a good, well-coached team with athletes just like you know you got to bring your hat. You know what I mean? You got to work hard. And you can't. It's not going to be a week off. And I take pride in trying to schedule like that.
Coach Coleman, you talk about your team, and we talked about this a little bit last year. So 19, you're runner-up, 20, you're champion, 21, runner-up. Then you got to make a new schedule. Regardless of what your team looked like, you couldn't dumb it down if you wanted to, because everybody's going, hey, we're not going to play Summit. Now we redo the schedule. Maybe after last year, you could change it, but you really didn't.
We didn't. We got a whole lot more phone calls, that's for sure. But we didn't change it. I mean, and in 19, we were 7-3 and a 3 seed in our region,
right?
And went to the state championship. So I mean, just felt like we were battle tested. Traveled a lot, in the playoffs, which doesn't really matter. I mean, it's fine. Just take pride in it and use it to your advantage. Just say, all right, guys, we're a great travel team. Just tell them they are, and sometimes they think they are. So. The record in the regular season really doesn't matter. I mean, you got to get in. You got to be top 4 in your region to even get in. But after that, it really doesn't matter.
You think as an older, more experienced coach too, Coach Coleman, if you were coming off a season like last year and you're in your 3rd year as a coach, you might not have kept the schedule as strong. In other words, experience has maybe taught you it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
You think that's...
You want them to be. You don't want them to be complacent and think they're better than they are. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
I mean, might as well go against some good opponents.
Which year was Busgate?
That was 19. That was round 1 of 19. They blew up the road. We're on the way to Gallatin on Highway 107, TV game. They blew up the road, and we're stuck on a charter bus right there. Couldn't get anywhere off. I think we showed up I think we got there about 7:30, 7:45, and they said we'd give us 15 minutes to warm up. So I'm on the bus like, all right, guys, we're fixing to play a game in 15 minutes. They won't give us any time to warm up. And, that type thing. And that was one of the funnest games we've ever coached. It's cold as heck. Probably better that we just went out there and warmed up and played. I mean, never went to the locker room because it was cold as heck. So once we got warmed up, we were warmed up. And that was that first round game.
Stuck on 109.
Stuck on 109. Busgate.
I remember that.
Hey, thank goodness it was a charter bus. If it was a school bus, we wouldn't have had a bathroom. We would have had some problems.
Oh, no. It'd been another kind of gate then if we'd had to do something else.
Yeah, the county AD might have got some phone calls.
Let's talk about this. We'll start with Summit. 40-0 win over Spring Hill. Now, I was following this. I was at the Battle of Franklin, but I was following this on social media. 7-0 at the half.
Yeah, we didn't show up.
But then the second half, you really step up. You end up with 323 rushing yards. Dominic Hollis, obviously a big game. But I thought your QB, McElhaney, really played well. If you look at his stats, 14 carries, 158 yards, only 5 passes, but 22 yards and a touchdown to Cooper Felts. You had to feel pretty good about that rushing game, Coach.
We did, and he's protected the football. If it's not there, if you have a lane, tuck it and run it, okay? I'm not telling you nothing you don't already know. He's watched film, and we also reading a lot of things with him. So, if it's a give. If it's not, pull it and read it, okay? So he did a good job. Like I said, we didn't show up the first half. Talked to him a little bit at halftime. Second half was a whole different game. And we're like telling the kids watching film, like, same players, same opponent, same plays, same alignment. You just blocked better. You just did things better. So, we need to be that team that played in the second half and not that team that showed up the first half. So our defense kept us in it. Thank goodness, had the goose egg. Anytime you can go, hold your point to 0 is pretty big deal. So kudos to our defense.
Don't you think, too, Coach Coleman, I know you guys if you look at your career, you've done both. You had Destin Wade, you're flinging a little more. But you've been a guy who you like running the ball. That's kind of been your MO. Do you find that when you play that style, you get down 14-0, 17-0 to the opponent, it might feel like 35 points just because you're keeping the ball for a while.
Yeah.
It's got to be an advantage, at least in your mind.
Feels like it. Yeah, we're going to run the ball. We like physicality. We like physical offense, physical defense, and Coach does too. I know from his experience and how his team's playing this year. So there's just something about that, being physical and being able to run the football. It helps you in the later playoff. I mean, that helps you in the first, second, third round. The weather gets nasty, the ball gets hard, or you're going to play in a rain game. You're going to have to be able to run the football and stop the run.
Coach Stewart, similar in that you guys were tied, but as late as the end of the third quarter, you come out and score to start the fourth quarter. Then there's a fumble on a kickoff. You recover it, score again, and from there it's over. 250 yards rushing for your team. So similar to what Summit did to Spring Hill, you got it done on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was one of them things. We've seen some things that we liked up front. Like I said, we preach physicality as well. If you dominate the line of scrimmage, you got a good chance of winning the game. We had a couple power sets that we liked. We practiced all week long, and we was like, we like these. And if we get to a certain point, if we can stick in it and stay in it, we will stay in it. And we kind of did. It allowed Dom Reed to do what he does best and be an athlete, and then he gives it to Tanner and things like that. So I mean, it was just a dynamic duo situation Friday, and we really liked what we saw. We'll do some things different this week.
No.
So we'll do some things different. We'll do some things different tonight. So I hope he knows that, and I don't mind. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got to prepare. You watch film. Like, they're a well-coached team. They're disciplined. They're in their gaps. So you just got to put your kids in the best situation to win, and that's kind of what we did. And we like what we saw. We stuck with it.
109 yards rushing for Dominic Reed, 122 for Tanner Lee, and the return of DJ Curl. Had to be pleased with him. Made some big plays defensively, including an interception.
Yeah, I mean, we do some things on defense. We're kind of multiple. We'll give you two different looks and slide around and move around. And DJ is like the coach on the field. He's one of the coaches on the field. Him and Cody Williamson, they do a good job communicating, making adjustments, and watching film. They watch film as much as we do, and they come in there and say what they see. And like I said, they're our eyes on the field, of course. They're the coach on the field, and they do a good job getting people lined up and being prepared. And he played a monster game. I'm happy for that kid because last season he got hurt this time last year. So I'm happy that he came back and he's doing what he's doing right now.
Let's talk a little bit about the region. Obviously, we talked last week, Coach Stewart, about this, but Coach Coleman, in your region, Brentwood, Franklin, Indy, Ravenwood, yourself, Overton, you lose Centennial, you add Overton. Question for you, Coach, and I know you want to go to the ultimate game. Everybody does. But a successful year, playoffs would be a good place to start there,
Playoffs,
Coach?
that's the first goal, yeah. You got to get in. Got to get in, get that extra game. So, that's the first goal.
Coach Stewart, no one's won Page, also with big wins last week. You guys obviously win. I think it's like we talked about last week. Obviously, Hillsboro, they've got a good team too, but that region title is going to come through these three, I think.
More than likely, that's what it'll come
Hillsboro's
through.
not watching. Don't worry about it.
Right. No,
I'll send it.
That's one of my good friends.
I'll send it.
And he'll snitch on us too. So I got to watch what I say. So AB doesn't mean anything like that. But at the end of the day, I think it could be a toss-up. You hear all kind of rumors and things like that. And like I said, everybody won last week of the four, but the three WCS schools. I mean, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. Now, we talk about the region, and we're talking about region championships and playoffs, but we're really focused on tonight. I don't want our kids to get ahead of that. And like I said, we play one game at a time, and we don't want to look ahead of anybody. This guy over here is a really good coach, and he's going to have his guys prepared tonight, and we can't worry about Page and Noseville until we play Summit. So,
the thing, I say this every year when I'm talking to you guys, but one thing I really love about your sport, there's such events. I don't care if you've won 4 games, 2 games, 1 game. You only have 10 shots. And I think y'all talk about that a lot, right, Coach Coleman?
You can't have a week off. That's definitely. You can't have a bad game. Definitely cannot have a bad game. It'll put you behind the 8 ball and whatever your goals might be.
talk a little offense from last week. Coach Stewart, talk about that 20-point outburst in the fourth quarter. Obviously, the fumble recovery helped, but it looked like your offense maybe really started clicking there in the fourth.
Oh, we ran the ball well. Like I said, if you dominate the line of scrimmage in the fourth quarter, those guys have been getting kicked out all game. They're kind of tired of it. And when you want to find that guy that's really tired of it, and you try to take advantage of it. So, I mean, football is not hard. You get your system in there, you find out where you can go, and you stay there. And our kids responded well. We made some adjustments on the offensive line. We missed a couple blocks first half that feel like we could have helped us break a couple, but we made some adjustments. Joshua Southall, my offensive line coach, he takes pride in it, and the guy stepped up to the plate, and then like I said, we just grinded it out. When you can run the ball, like Coach said, it's a game changer. You know, some people like to drop back and throw it 40 times. You're never going to see that on Mallory Lane. So I'm telling you right now. So you might get 15, maybe. Most it's 20. So we're going to run the ball 20, 25, 30 times a game. You know, you want to get the clock rolling, and you want to keep, pushing it up the field. And if you're dominant and you're physical, that helps the game roll through. And like I said, you want to wear people down. So, I mean, that's what we like to hang our hat on.
Coach Coleman, same thing. Do you feel like the physicality of your team, maybe as the game wore on last week,
I think that helped in that second half. Yeah, the offensive line, we leave a little bit of things up to the offensive line as far as on the line checks, and they missed those checks the first half for whatever reason. First game jitters or whatever. So once they started getting those checks where there was the defensive lined up, it helped. It helped our offense tremendously. So, and kind of wearing them down. They had a lot of people going both ways. You try to take pride in also being in better shape, and we worked hard all summer for this, type thing. So, use that kind of motivation for the kids.
Coach Coleman, don't you think that week 1 to week 2 can be one of the biggest jumps you make all year? You
can. You put a lot of prep. I mean, you're a lot of preparation into week 1 because you want to get that first win. So then how do you go another game prep week of a different opponent? Like for the first couple weeks of you really don't prepare that much for that last scrimmage. Mm-hmm. You kind of put that week into that first week of who you play, like we did for Spring Hill. Now it's a week worth of prep for Centennial. How do the kids pick up what we've done all week? And with us, we've been in 5:30 in the morning. So how do they really react to, the game type stuff that we're putting in, the checks or the schemes or whatever? So, how do they react to that is a big key.
Coach Stewart, your team, I know you talked about after the game, hey, we had some penalties. We turned it over a little bit. We had a drop pass. But couldn't some of that be expected? Your first year with them, they're getting used to you. You're getting used to them. That rivalry game, it's almost like you can get too excited sometimes. I think you'll see that same kind of jump week 1 to week 2. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was uncharacteristic of any team I've ever had to have that many penalties. But, I mean, it was a loud crowd. We had a lot of excitement and emotion going. I'm kind of proud of my guys. They didn't respond to a couple situations where, personal fouls. We harp on that because we don't want you to, we want you to play the next week. Too many of those you'll get removed from the game. And we had some, like I said, it was very loud. We had a lot of penalties and stuff like that. And I didn't accept it, but I told them I understood because what that meant. It was a high emotional game. Like I said, these kids are 5 minutes from each other, and we expected it to be a high emotion game. But I mean, we'll clean it up and try to play disciplined, sound football because what came Monday with those penalties they didn't enjoy. So I mean, we had 18 penalties. So just imagine what price they had to pay for that. So
and we did that after 6 o'clock.
Let's start docking points or something. Ain't that the rules? If you don't abide by the rules,
we did it in the gym.
You start down by 14
in the air conditioned gym.
Hey, the nice thing about conditioning in the gyms, you got all of the lines you can.
And that's what we utilize the lines.
Let's talk about your defense, Coach Coleman. Can't do much better than a shutout.
That's true. They played well. Got to be disciplined. You have to be sound in your gaps. You have to, a lot of things that that they have to do to be a good defense. I thought they took a step forward there. No big plays. Limit the big plays. Yeah. Anytime you get a goose egg, I mean, you're doing a great job. And I felt like they kept us in it, and especially in that first half, got us got us a turnover, which actually got the first 7 points on the board. So they did a great job.
Coach Stewart, I thought your defense made some big plays. We talk about DJ Curl, but y'all made some other big plays too throughout the game.
Yeah, Coach Taylor and the staff, they did a good job making adjustments. We sit down and we prep together, and he asked me, hey, what do you think about this? What will give you a hard time, and vice versa. But the kids play hard. And what I like about our kids is they watch film, they read keys, and they just want to get to the football. We preach 3 things: alignment, assignment, aggressiveness. Line up right, know what you're doing, and just get to the football with attitude. And so that's what we're going to do. And, we're playing offense like tonight versus Summit. You got to read your keys or you're going to be in trouble. He does a good job mixing it up and putting you in a bind. So, we're going to be reading keys a lot and things of that nature. So we got to stay disciplined on the point of attack.
Coach Coleman, I know one of the things for you guys that coach football, special teams always makes you a little anxious here in week 1. How do you think your team did last year, special teams wise?
I think they did well. No punt's a big thing, especially early in the year. You can't give up a punt return because that's a quick, that's a quick deficit. Kickoff team, we don't have somebody to put them in the end zone every time. We're getting there. Cooper Hall's getting there, but not quite every time. So kickoff's very important. So, and we harped on that. We were awful that last scrimmage we had. We went live and it was awful. We gave up a punt return. We had some penalties on some kickoffs and stuff like that. So we really harped on that on the Spring Hill week, and I thought that we corrected that. So we just got to keep that going because, if you get a punt blocked, your percentage of winning a football game goes really, really low. So, it's very important, different type of things, giving up a kickoff return or easy 6 or easy 7. So it's very important.
Coach Stewart, what do you think about your special teams?
I harp on this a lot. I say special teams is a booster. When I say a booster, if you're up and you make a play on special teams, you get to increase the lead. If you're down and you make a play on special teams, you get to cut the lead in half. So I say this is a booster. So, and like I think I said this last week, kids nowadays used to feel like special teams was not important. And we harp on it a lot. And like I said, I've been to the state championship twice, and special teams is a big part of why we weren't successful, But we have different type of kids where I can kick the ball now, so that's good. But we harp on if you're a backup guy on defense or you're a defensive guy, there's an opportunity to go make a tackle. It's an opportunity to get better, and it's an opportunity. Hey, this guy's hustling, so maybe we can put him out there on defense. So we don't treat it like it's not important at all. It's 3 phases of the game, and we want to win special teams. Like you said, we created a fumble. Coach Parks did a good job. We created a fumble. And we got it back, and that changed the momentum of the team. And like I said, you get the ball back, like Coach said, you make a play right there. We scored, got the fumble, and scored again. It kind of broke Franklin's back a little bit, and then kind of you felt the momentum leave them, and that's what we harp on and just get into that. And it's a very important part of the game.
Let's finish up. Again, we're talking about tonight's WCTV game of the week. Coach Coleman, offense or defense, either one. Give me a key for tonight's game for your team to be successful.
Can't give up big plays. Going to try to run the football. Let's figure out what Coach Stewart has figured up for us. So, getting past that first drive and getting the jitters out. And, being able to run the football and stop the run, block and tackle, it's a pretty simple game. So, can't give up big plays either.
Coach Stewart?
This week, I hope my trick play works this time, so we're going to quadruple reverse. But no, like I said,
Coach Coleman isn't buying
it. being disciplined, man. Like I said, he's a great offensive mind. He puts you in a bind. So we harping on doing your job, not someone else's job, and getting to the football, wrapping up. Got some guys that got a little wiggle, they can run a little bit, so we're gonna be physical. But we also have to stay disciplined so we don't give up a pop pass or anything like that, which that can break your back when you're selling out for runs.
Gentlemen, appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Good luck to both of you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time.